Yo,
Hey, what's going on, bro? Number three.
back again. Number three. Yeah, man.
Three.
All getting knee deep in the challenge from our Wild Wednesday episode. We just talked about the breath work a little bit. We'll have a whole recap about that once the week is concluded and we make it back around to Wednesday. But yeah, man, today talking about staying moving should be fun.
Yeah, yes. Today, in today's day and age, movement is a necessity. It's super important. And how we interact with it on a daily basis is really what we're going to dive into today, what our own practices are, how it's formed our life, and, what insights we can share with the world. So, yeah, let's kind of where did movement or how did movement get added into your life? Like where did you really start to, become engaged with it?
Yeah. So I would say it's especially it's especially relevant for me. I'm definitely partaking of many of the phenomena in the modern age that have come about from technology. I have been a remote worker, even in my time in the automotive industry and my sabbatical as a writer for gosh, I mean, more than 5 years now. So I would say the first time that we went remote in the pandemic, I had never really thought about being remote before that. That's when I became more intentional about movement. I was always doing it before. I always had some practices, but back in 2020 is when I became a lot more intentional because I was spending all my time at home at a desk in an office just like this. And it would be very easy to just get pulled into the inertia of being sedentary. Um, because I mean, everything that I did for my work outside of the occasional trip to an office was, sitting at this desk, writing on Excel files, having meetings. Um, and even when I went to the office, like we're sitting in meeting rooms. I don't do an active job. I'm not a construction worker. I'm not out on my feet cleaning up a forest or something. So it was important for me to build movement into my life. But I've always like been a gym goer, so that's something that I carried with me from my younger years. So that didn't hurt me. I've never really stopped going to the gym and doing some exercises there. But I'm going to stop there. That's kind of like when I became intentional about finding practices, and I'll talk more about like what practices I do and what I found. But I want to ask
Yeah.
you or get your thoughts on the same thing, like what it means to you when you became intentional about it and such.
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up playing sports, and I think that's where, most of us, up until I would say maybe end of high school, we're pretty active, whether we're playing sports or not. We're running around, still playing manhunt, doing all this stuff with our
Yeah.
friends. And then, college comes in, drinking, partying, that lifestyle, probably more than 50% of people encounter that. And obvious for me, working out was huge in college, looking to impress, looking to just like, be the tough guy in the room, really putting on size and emphasizing bodybuilding and things like that, which was great. I had the fucking energy for it, and it felt good to pack on muscle and whatnot. But that led to, unhealthy behaviors, eating, unhealthy body actually. My body started to have, cramping, soring, aches, pains, and things that, an early 20-year-old shouldn't be really experiencing. Um, so I kind of went through what most dudes go through, or even females, which is like going into heavily the traditional bodybuilding space, it being effective as far as physique goes, and then somewhere along the line hitting a roadblock, physically, just entering a shithole of health that propelled me out of it and to seek more holistic methods. Um, so that's kind of what brought me to the path that I'm on now, where it's more focused around calisthenics, healthy eating, sleep, looking at it as a holistic approach, looking at it from multiple different angles, not just looking at it as going into the gym and trying to max out my bench press every Monday and, going just looking at it very linear. It's looking at it from a more of a wider scope that's taking into all these different factors that actually lead to a healthy lifestyle. And movement is one section of that, right? Um, so let's see how we can parallel each other's movement where we are now. Like I think we can both say we came from similar spaces, right? Like you were pretty heavy in the bodybuilding space, right?
Yeah, yeah, quite similar. Yeah, good thing you
Like
said there
taking the
because
pre-workouts,
growing
the
up,
protein shakes, and all that.
yes, 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 yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
C4,
think we
fucking all that shit.
had a bit of a Riverside issue there, a bit of a connection issue there. We started talking while something was still coming through from your side, but we'll sort that out. Maybe it's my internet connection. But anyway, yeah, man. Growing up, same as you, riding my bike around town, playing pickup basketball for, until the sun went down, and and you never thought about being active. Got into college, my twin brother and I, yes, dude, super into weightlifting, super into the bodybuilding, and like that's all we thought about is we didn't think about how healthy we were because health is an afterthought when you have it, when you're young, and like we were. We never had to worry about it. So all we cared about was looking good and getting buff. Like that was the whole thing, just like you said. And it wasn't until later that we had to develop more
Well, it's
holistic ways.
it's interesting that we're seeing like from my own experience and maybe from yours too that younger and younger kids are having health issues. So the question of health is becoming more dominant the younger we are, where there is like this sense of immortality that the youth brings, right? We feel fucking invincible.
Yes.
But actually, there's sort of a reversal that I saw. I mean, that happened to literally me. I ended up in the hospital for gut issues that were related to my diet that I was trying to force feed myself when I was getting into hardcore bodybuilding and all the supplement shit that I was taking. Oh, horrible for you. Um, so anyway, did anything in life happen to you where it was like your movement practice shot you off in a different direction because it wasn't making you healthy or it created damage of some sort?
So thankfully, not for me. I never really had a problem. I saw it in a lot of other people. So working in the jobs where I'm working at in a corporate office where it's engineering, it's sales, it's purchasing, and it's the operational office guys. I saw a lot of people that were out of shape. And I think it just naturally I learned that these guys that are older than me, you have to make a choice. If you don't make an intentional choice to avoid
Yeah.
that, then you can be taken there by inertia. So thankfully, I didn't really have any major health problems. I'm unfortunate in that respect, but I saw a lot of cautionary tales. Some people in my family as well have had some heart issues, pretty like heart attacks early in life, and some people that are overweight. So I think that there is maybe a stronger propensity for that, like in my genes. So my brother and I both, thankfully, he got on the same path as me, and we kind of pushed each other. We both were like, "Hey, like, let's commit, let's stay healthy for life." So we kind of jumped onto that track just from the cautionary tales.
Yeah, yeah. That's wonderful. I want to share this meme right now, because it directly correlates to what we're saying. I don't know if it's going to load, but the saying that you choose your suffering, and you got a picture of a fat ass dude, or someone that's excessively overweight and just unhealthy, and then you have someone that's fit and buff, whatever you want to call it. And obviously there's nuances there, but the essential notion is like you suffer through movement, exercise, whatever you want to call it, or you suffer through lack of it, and that has a whole slew of byproducts, health wise that come with it. Um, what I want to tap on here is like age and how our age and what we're doing in life can erode our movement practice and our engagement with it in our everyday lives. So from my perspective, it seems like, once we get out of college, once we get out into the world, adult life rolls in, corporate life might be a part of that for some people, movement becomes less of a priority. Priority gets focused around finances, getting out of debt, things of that nature. So movement gets put on the back burner. And this, what I'm seeing right now, being 30, how old are you? 34, 35 now?
35. Yeah, I turned 35 in May.
Okay, yeah, so 31, 35, we're entering, or we've been in this space of like, once you get to 30, there becomes deeper and deeper questions that begin to present themselves, and life begins to really become a structure. Like it really starts to become an ingrained program almost, or at least it feels like it. So people tend to really veer off into the unhealthy realm, or really start to embody, movement practices. Um, do you see that on your end? Like, have you experienced that in your worlds where it's like your friends, family, maybe around this time period, it's like they veer off considerably?
Yeah, yes, man. A couple things around that. I think that it doesn't have a high priority in the culture. I mean, you see, there's a lot of like, like fitness idolizing, like movie stars. We idolize these very fit movie stars, and there's companies that are selling us products with, and the advertising is always done by these incredibly fit people. But outside of the idols and the industry that's trying to sell people something, it's not like there's many priorities that are built into the culture above being healthy. um, and yeah, I have, at least that's my experience, and I've seen that. Yes, I have seen people just kind of go down a track like that in their lives. It seems like there's like a ton of things that are higher than that on the priority list, like you said, and the people that are fit have really like you said, they have chosen that track. It's kind of like what Brian Tracy said it, but somebody else probably said it before him. Develop good habits and make them your masters. Like you, these people just chose to develop fitness habits, and there are others who chose to develop other habits that don't include fitness, and it just
Yeah.
you get that long term effect of you've had these habits for years and you get the inevitable results, right?
Yeah. Movement definitely is one of the most direct representations of compounding benefits. It really doesn't present itself after one movement practice or workout or exercise. It reveals itself over time. And that's essential to understanding its impact on your life. And like you said, like these are usually people get used to movement through sports when they're younger. And if they didn't have sports, then I've seen that those people be the first ones to, let go of any sort of exercise or workout routine. Um, yeah, Yeah. You do you see that too? How like sports plays a drastic role in being able to form that part of your life and help carry it on through the years?
Yeah, in my experience, the people who are in sports, I mean, my brother and I played a couple sports like track and field and baseball, but we also played a ton outside with our friends, and that culture of like playing pickup games and doing those things that stuck with us kind of forever. We were used to movement. Um, but yeah, I've definitely, there's a stereotype around a certain like kind of person, like a kid who's very like brainy and then becomes an engineer, like they're not into sports at all, and then they get
Yeah.
into engineering. Like there's
Yeah.
like kind of a whole stereotype around certain like a person who does certain things, like they just never get into physical activity, even though movement is so essential. It's a part of our
Yeah.
life that we can't avoid, either through getting onto the virtuous cycle or getting onto that vicious cycle, that bad treadmill of not having it. You either way, you can't avoid it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think so the reasoning behind someone's movement practice is important. Our intentions behind it. The most people I think will get into movement to impress, to impact aesthetics and everything of that nature. Because that's what I got into it for the first half of my life here was just for those reasons alone. But as I've grown and as I've gotten older, it's turned into more of a health oriented mind and how I approach it, and understanding that our body is a vehicle, and vehicles in motion stay healthier than vehicles that are sitting for exuberant amounts of time. You know, just observe a car that's sitting out in a field for years on end. It gets all rusty and whatnot. And critters start to, make it a home and everything. We're meant to stay in motion. And I think it's important to change the perspective from purely physical mindset and how we approach it to a more of a holistic mind, body, spirit approach, you know, and health being like a one of our greatest asset, you could say, in life, right? If health is wealth, if you don't have your health, no amount of money can really save you from that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And movement is the medicine of the body. There's other medicines, but it's the number one thing of the physical world, you could say, is like movement. Um, and one thing I want to share with this, it's never left me from college, that I learned about this study that I guess just grasped my attention. It's done on cleaning ladies. And basically, it just correlates intention, mindset to actual physical results. So there was like a subsect of the cohort that were told their everyday work life was a great exercise, and there was a sector of the cohort that was just the placebo. They weren't told anything. And the people that were told that this type of work was good exercise showed significant reductions in body weight composition and a whole slew of things, body
Wow.
fat, waist to hip ratio. So it was sincerely only a mindset shift that through their everyday working life, they were telling themselves that this is good exercise, that this movement that we do every day is impacting us in a significant way. And it showed up physically. So that just is one example on showing us how our intention impacts our physical bodies, especially in relation to movement.
Wow. Dude, that's fascinating. Can you send me the link so I could include it in the video description for this one?
Yeah, yeah, I will.
Yeah, shoot that over to me. Wow, the same activity, just different mindset, and
Yeah, it's
drastically
crazy.
different result. Wow,
It's mind blowing.
man.
So let's get into like, where we are now with movement. How do we incorporate it into this adult life where we have, work, relationships, all of this to attend to, where it's not, we don't have the luxury of living in a college dorm anymore and just dicking around and partying and just focusing on school, working out, and partying basically. We have a life now. And also like finding, because as you get older, the motivation, the energy might not be as strong as it was when you were 21, 22. So tapping into maybe the energetics of it as well. Where are things at for you, and how do you how would you describe it?
Yeah, yeah. It's helpful to me to be in a space where I don't have to go into an office. I kind of design where I am, where I work. I have a great deal of flexibility in the space, the physical space that I'm in. So that's very helpful for me. But yeah, I think for me, it's important to start moving early in the day. So I wake up with a cold shower every day, and there's a lot of studies. I don't know everything about it. I think I've done it every single day for like 6 years, maybe with a few exceptions, literally just a few. It's still hard to do, but that like just gets me like wakes me up and gets me going right away. Like I feel like moving after doing that. So kind of like spikes the energy and opens up the blood vessels right away. And then still in the morning, I'll do that and then I'll read for a while. And then I do work out in the morning. I do go to the gym. So I'm still a weightlifter. I do not do it for bodybuilding anymore. I'm not trying to pack on muscle or really make my body look a certain way. So I'm mainly just focused on throughout the week moving every body part through lifting weights. I'm doing free weights, so a lot of dumbbell exercises on the bench, and I do some barbell exercises as well. Just a lot of compound movements. My rule is I do not lift for more than 30 minutes. So I'll typically do a little warm up. I have like a resistance band that I use at home, and then the gym. I just use my apartment gym. They have just basically they don't have a lot, but they have the free weights. I don't use all the complicated machines and stuff. But I used to do that, but I kind of think that stuff can be detrimental in a way because it forces you just to hold one position instead of exercising those stabilizer muscles. But anyway, I keep it to 30 minutes because I tend to get burned out and I tend to dread it if I'm trying to lift for like an hour. That's what I've learned about myself. So I keep it to that, and then I come home and I have an exercise bike here. I can send a picture of it. It's just a Schwinn stationary bike, and I do 30 minutes on that. So that's like my workout throughout the day. 30 minutes of lifting and then cardio, and I do that 5 days a week. I try to do Monday through Friday, and then I take the weekends off. So that's like the workout part. And like I said, just like you, dude, I used to do all those things just to look good, just for the aesthetics and whatnot. And now I do it for completely different reasons. And I feel different. I think different while I'm doing it. I'm in there and I'm breathing while I'm doing the exercises and I'm feeling like this is my day. Like I'm doing push days. So I'm working out like this part of my arms and my chest and my shoulders. And, I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm getting those parts of my body moving this week. Like this is my time to do that. So it feels very nourishing when I go in there and I do it. I don't dread it very much for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you see any negative side effects of the cold showers? Doing them for so often?
No. No, so far no negative side effects. I will say that I'm pretty addicted to it, man. I if I don't like if I wake up in a place where I can't for some reason, which is very rare, then yeah, it's like I'm looking forward. Like it's almost hard to get going. Like I'm so used to it now that I just that's how I wake up. So that's
Yeah.
probably the only thing. It's just that I'm so used to it.
Yeah. I think that's a great practice to get into because it never gets comfortable unless
No.
you're maybe Wim Hof, but he seems to kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, not Wim Hof here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
So,
also do. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no. Finish up what you were gonna say. I'm just gonna dive
I
into
was
another
going to
thing.
say I take a walk every day. That's more meditative. It's also it's like for me it's very intentional movement, but very slow. You know, I'm walking around, typically just around my apartment community. Like
Yeah.
I'm walking 2 miles an hour and just taking in the sights, especially in the summertime. It's great to just yeah, take a walk in sandals and just let the day go. I typically do it in the evening, um, but it's great. It's also great to just move the body like around like throughout space. Um, but it's not really because I'm trying to burn calories or anything. It's just to more of an intentional thing. I do a lot of random push-ups and sit-ups throughout the day. I love that. There's nothing like after sitting at the desk, like I guarantee you when this episode is over, I'm gonna drop down and do 25 push-ups and 25 sit-ups just because like that's normally what I do. If I sit for a while, I like to do that. It keeps me moving, like it keeps the energy flowing. Like it really is like an energetic thing for me. If I sit too long, like if I'm watching a show, like Sniggy and I are watching Invincible now. Great fucking show. Oh my gosh, it's so great. The animated Invincible. It's kind of like got a boys feel to it, like the boys. But anyway, like there's ads on there. Sometimes it's like a 2 minute ad. Drop down and do push-ups and sit-ups. Like I always mute the ad, get up, push-ups and sit-ups. Like great way to stay moving instead of watching a stupid ad. Somebody tried to sell you things. Just get up and move. Like great, great tip.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone's brain works differently. As far as as long as I've known you, you've been kind of in this space where you could enter any sort of movement at any time of the day, whenever it feels right. For me, I feel like I personally need a little more structure around it to enter that sort of mindset. Um, but I completely feel like your way of doing things is great. So if anyone could take something away from this is inviting movement at any time of the day, any scenario, it's okay. I think it's great. So tapping into like that study that I showed, kind of getting to the foundation of this, it's like movement can be essentially anything that you're doing. It can be walking, it can be doing extensive weight exercises, calisthenics, yoga. Like you have to see life as a movement. Great person to study here is Ido Portal and how he describes movement and the interactive play with life, and that our everyday life is a movement. So don't see life just as you, or don't see movement as you just going to the gym, but also like you walking down the street, you picking up and moving things around in the garage. All these things are different types of movement. And like I said, that study directly shows us how that simple shift, I'm not saying it's going to make you extremely buff and like change your physique, but it's creating a different relationship in your mind with what movement is. And the more movement we have in life consciously, the better we're going to be living, the healthier we will be. So for me, I've been going into, calisthenics has been a massive part of my life, studying and working with people that train Ido Portal's method and just how he teaches life or movement has been one of my pillars that has formed recently. I go in between and out of it, but I really think learning body weight movement and exercises should be foundational maybe before weights come into play. And also, it's just like there's so much you can play around with your body weight alone. So you and like you're doing right now, you can literally do it anywhere at any time. You don't need a gym, you don't need weights, you don't need any fancy equipment that's,
Sure.
constricting you to a certain movement pattern. You can literally do it anywhere, anytime. So getting comfortable with body weight movement, I think, should be everyone's first step.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Something you touched on something else, like just like unloading the dishwasher. Like when I'm doing that and when I'm cooking breakfast in the morning, like I normally dance around and I'm like trying to make like athletic moves. Like I pick a cup up out of the dishwasher and I put it away in the cabinet and I'm like open the cabinet, put it here, and I'm like I'm always like kind of dancing around, and that's been something that's just natural for me. So yeah, totally. Like I didn't think about it until you said it, but some of just like the daily tasks, like making my bed, like I'm going in there and I'm picking up my blankets and like throwing them on the bed, and then like run over to one side and straighten it out. Like you can tell by now, anybody who's watching, that I'm pretty energetic guy, but like that's just like natural, one way of like enjoying those things, like because it's kind of like a not a workout unto itself, but it's just something that's built in, like the stuff we have to do anyway, like doing our laundry and making the bed and cooking and doing the dishes. Like those are all things that are exercise. Like it's all movement. It's all ways that we stay moving.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's also breaking free from the societal conditioning that we've received of like how physically we're supposed to look and things of this nature. I mean, there tends to be a physique that correlates to a healthy body, right?
Of course.
Um, but in modern day and age, that has become superficial, with steroid use and all these supplements. People are able to access, this like insane physique in an unhealthy way, and is actually just an extreme facade for a really internally unhealthy environment. But we need to really break free from that and understand like it's all a personal journey. Whatever gives you happiness, energy, working out should actually amplify your energy, and just making you feel overall good in life. That's really where we want to go with this. But really understanding that movement is quintessential to health and longevity. We need to constantly be moving in life, internally and externally. We need to continue to engage with our worlds. So whatever that is to you, like people might just find that in yoga might be chill and perfect for them. But as long as you're moving, stretching, engaging with the physical body, you're going to be way ahead of a lot of people and on a path to longevity and health for the long run here.
Yeah, it's a virtuous cycle. It makes, for sure, do if you're doing it the right way, it should add energy. I'll tell you, if I have a week where things are crazy and I don't work out, man, I feel it. For me, especially if I don't do cardio, the cardio really pumps me up. Like
Yeah,
I said, I
yeah.
don't try to go crazy. I'm not doing like an hour on the bike, or like I'm not running 10 miles, but that cardio, like just keeping that fitness. And I try to do steady state. So I'm doing like, heart rate around 140 beats per minute. Just like getting that activity, getting the blood pumping and getting the heart rate up. It elevates the rest of the day for me. And once I've done it, once I'm in the cycle where I've done it for 5 days, or I've done it on it consistently for a month or so, like, oh man, I just feel different. I have a much more elevated energy.
Yeah, and the cardio pumps more oxygen in your body than, your typical static exercise or anything like that. So more oxygen in is always better. Well, I shouldn't say always, but for most of us, it's better to get more oxygen into our cells.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, a little anecdote. I talked about these guys before, but my dad's mother, my grandma Loretta, is 86 years old now. She works at Walmart and she lives on a farm. Someone was calling me. She lives on a farm with her husband. They take care of about 35 goats. They've got 25 chickens or so, and three dogs, I think. And they take care of the grounds. They grow. They have a massive garden out there, and I'm telling you, this woman has more energy than a lot of people in their 40s that I see.
Yeah.
She is just incredible. She's a huge role model for me, and she's always been hardworking. She carried the mail for 35, 40 years, and she's never not had like a job that kept her active, a lifestyle that's kept her active. And the other is my grandpa Daryl, who is my mom's dad. He is 84 now, and he still beats me in pool every time we play. I can't beat him. He's a carpenter by his trade. That's what he did for the longest time. He also got into maintenance. He was a maintenance manager at manufacturing company in Danville, Illinois for a long time, and he does a lot of woodworking projects. He's always building something. He's always out in his workshop, in his garage, building something. He loves to do like woodworking. And if anybody has a project working on their house in our family, he'll go and help them. He'll still get up there and do a roof. Him and my dad, they put a new roof on one of his neighbors recently. He's just never stopped moving. So yeah, now they've become big role models for me. Back in the day when I was younger, I didn't think anything about it, but now I'm just like, man, I'm in awe of them. Like, and when I look at them, I'm like, geez, I don't ever want to stop moving because they're still so healthy and strong.
Yeah, that is such an important topic to touch on. Movement, but not so much the physical movement, it's the engagement with like others, community, like getting into movement beyond just the physical. Like it correlates directly to our physical body moving, of course, outside of our domain. But nowadays we become so isolated. I mean, we can tap into essentially everything in the world at our fingertips from our homes, um, and it discourages actually leaving our property and going and doing things with our bodies and our eyes and mind. So, as we continue to live life, we should continue to encourage ourselves to get out and to interact and to go try new things and whatever else. Um, Especially when we get older, of course, but especially right now with all this technology coming in, we got to get out and have real conversations, real face to face interactions, real interaction with our bodies in the earth, walking, hiking, doing all this stuff. I think for me, this is coming really alive in just not being sedentary. This world is teaching us to be sedentary. Even some of the spiritual practices are, like the diving into meditation and all this stuff. And some people, and me, it kind of like imposed this idea that I should be still more, I should be just sitting and meditating more in life.
Hmm.
When in actuality, no, it's you take that meditation in your movement in the real world.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Interesting point. There's a place for physical stillness. There's a place for it, but alone and just too much is not healthy. We got to have movement as well.
Yeah. Yep. It's it's what we're here for. It's what being human is. We're in this physical vehicle to engage with life through it. It's meant to be experienced.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Well, yeah, let's continue to learn and continue to keep ourselves moving. I think we both have some interesting practices right now. I want to learn more about the Ito Portal method. I remember you had talked about that quite a while ago, so I know you've had quite a long-standing relationship with those practices, with that method. But I'm interested to learn. I'm always I'm always excited about anything that can be new and invigorating and keep me moving. So yeah, send that the one thing from before, and also send me some stuff on Ito Portal if you can. I'm curious to check that out.
Yeah, I sent the study over in the chat here. Maybe, and I wanted to, before we close up here, I just wanted to share this one practice that could be used daily. Let's see, here we go. It's known as the five rights, comes from Tibet. It's touches on yogic positions. You could Google more about it to learn about how it affects the energy centers, but it's really powerful and just kind of like a whole body movement practice that stimulates everything and really awakens the body. It's a great practice to do every day. It's very simple and structured to the point where you don't have to like think about it. You don't have to mentally be planning your day and everything. So check it out. Five rights, five Tibetan rights.
Cool.
Maybe we'll put it on the Wild Wednesdays and try it out for a week each.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I'd like that. That might be the next one.
All right, bro. I think this is it for this episode. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's wrap it up. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.
Cheers. Peace.
Cheers, man. Peace.